luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So I think that is one of the most important quotes which has remained very close to my heart. And I think that's something, if everyone can imbibe in their DNA and do not depend upon external factors and prepare for every opportunity that comes for your way. Prepare for it every single day. Get discipline into your life. I think that's what is going to make the fundamental change in the way that you want to achieve whatever you want to.
Hi and welcome to another episode of the peopleHum interview series. This is your host Anushka at peopleHum. peopleHum is an end-to-end one-view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for HCM that is specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We run the peopleHum blog and video channel, which receives more than 400,000 visitors a year, and we also publish several interviews with well-known names globally every month. We have with us today Manmeet Singh. Manmeet's father, Vice Admiral Anup Singh retired, was in the Indian Navy, and due to this, Manmeet had the good fortune of being born, raised and transferred to coastal areas, as well as the opportunity to travel outside of India. His company, Comply for HR, offers tailor-made compliance solutions in the Indian labor law domain, as well as posh enablement services. His area of expertise include business development and operations, key account management, business strategies, marketing for business, providing tailor-made Indian labor law solutions, posh enablement, compliance and training, among other areas. He has overall 19 years of experience in the IT-enabled services companies. He has worked with GE, Vertex, IBM, Bank of America, and Exchanging in the fields of HR and business operations. In addition to business development, he provides tailor-made Indian labor law solutions and is also an external committee member with various organizations. This is part of IC committee as per the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013, also known as the POSH Act. We're so happy and elated to have Manmeet here on our interview series, and we can't wait to get in a conversation. So Manmeet, the first question I really had for you was, we know that Comply for HR really offers tailor-made compliance solutions in the Indian labor law domain and posh enablement services. So this sounds really interesting and unique. So could you tell us a little bit about what this really entails?
Sure. Well, Indian labor laws are very vast. There are over 212 acts which are there, and they're spread across various sectors. So there are state compliances, there are central labor laws which are there are state labor laws, and it is spread across. So it's really, really vast. And that's one of the reasons why it becomes very difficult and cumbersome for organizations to comply with it. So the easiest thing to do is, partner with consultants like us. So what we do is we help companies mitigate their risk insofar as labor laws are concerned by, looking at various aspects and offering tailor-made solutions, because everyone would have a different requirement. So it is not one thing which would fit, the same for all. So if some organizations may have a requirement for, vendor compliances when it comes to contractual labor. And then others would have a requirement for establishment compliances. And some would have a combination of the two. Some would have only a requirement of payroll-related compliances, which is PT, LWF, PF, and ESI. So that would vary from company to company. And depending upon the requirement, we offer our tailor-made solutions. So, and that's how it is. And apart from that, we also do POSH enablement services, and explain what that is. So POSH stands for Prevention of Sexual Harassment, which is a colloquial term for the Sexual Harassment for Women at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. And this act is something which is part of the larger umbrella of the DNI, which is diversity and inclusion. And that's the buzzword these days. But yes, it is a very, very important and pertinent act because it talks about the safety of women at workplace. And it took almost about 17 years before this act actually came into place. So the history behind that is, of course, in 97, there was a public interest litigation which was filed under the Vishakha banner. And then, of course, this litigation had come about. Yeah.
Absolutely. That was a great response. And firstly, congratulations on the wonderful work that you're doing at Comply for HR. That's really commendable.
Thank you. And the best part about the fact that when we started our work, so my boss, his name is Anant Srinivasan. He's the one-man army behind all the systems that we have. So he started coding at the age of 13, and it was at that time when we did not have internet at all. So he was really fascinated by coding, and so much so that in 2000 he started his own journey of making a software for compliance, which was one of the pioneers in the labor law front. And Comply for HR is one of the earliest in the labor law domain to have started insofar as an enabler for compliances. So we are one of the leaders insofar as Bosch enablement, and of course, more importantly, compliances like WeCheck, which is one of the portals for vendor compliances, and then eCheck, which is for entity compliance, eDoc, which is for making register and record maintenance. So that really helps companies to stay in check insofar as compliance is concerned. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. That was a very unique perspective you gave us. I don't think another influencer has really spoken about the compliance and posh aspect of working. So that's great.
Thank you.
So going on to the second question, Mami, we know that another area of your expertise is really marketing for business. So how, according to you, can we maintain the fine balance between traditional marketing and digital marketing strategies for optimal target reach?
Right. So it's a very interesting question that you ask, and it's easier to say that digital marketing is the buzzword these days, and it's easier for people to do. Millennials can actually relate to it, but then there is also space for traditional marketing. And if you look at the neuroscience study that has been on these days, there is a report which has come out which says that unless you have a look and feel, which is something which is in front of you, like for instance, you read out the newspaper, unless and until you read the newspaper, you would not be able to recapitulate the things which are mentioned out there. You may go ahead and do a text read from your mobile or an app over there. It may not have that retention power. But the fact that you have a hard copy in front of you, it would have a greater retention power. That's a study which is prevalent, which is why I think it's a mixture of both, which would really help. So, of course, digital marketing is really important to stay relevant. But then, if you need to have a lasting impact, we would obviously recommend traditional marketing. So, mix of both is something that I would recommend as a strategy.
Absolutely, can't agree more with you, and love that analogy you provided us with. Very relatable indeed.
Thank you.
Just shifting gears a little bit, Manmeet, we know that you are an advocate of productivity principles at work. So, based
Right.
on your experience over the years, can you tell us a little bit about what it really takes to thrive in today's workplace?
Okay, so I think staying relevant and being updated, like in our business, it's important for us to read every single day. The moment we do not, there's so much of disruption that is happening around. There's another company which just may come up and take your clients away. So it's important for us to stay relevant, stay updated, and also keep your clients informed about the changes that happen. So for us, law may come out in black and white, but it's the interpretation of the law and also how it applies to it, which is important, which is where it requires a lot of effort on our part to constantly keep learning. And that's something which is the fun part as well, because you get to learn so much each and every day. Yeah.
Absolutely, I can completely imagine. And it's wonderful how you mentioned the part of we need to constantly be relevant or kind of, stay in touch with today's times and be abreast of things. Very, I think it's really the need of the hour, whether it's upskilling or just constantly learning new things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. It's important, really important. Otherwise, you may just lose the game. And that,
absolutely.
that applies to every industry, not just our industry, every industry. Yeah.
Right, right. And I think the pandemic has also accelerated the need to constantly learn a lot.
Absolutely. And if I had heard this interview by Indra Nui who was the former CEO of PepsiCo. In one of her takeaways, she said that have the curiosity of a child, and a child is one who always keeps learning and is curious about things. What is there? Why is there? So I think that's something which has been my takeaway from the podcast that I keep listening to. Yeah.
Absolutely. Completely second you. So also, Manmeet, in modern corporate world, right, the why really matters more than the how. So it's basically the purpose matters more than how you do something. So how, in your opinion, can employees really discover a sense of purpose at work to keep themselves and their teams perpetually engaged?
That's a very, very important question. And I'm not too sure if many people have read it, but he happens to be one of my favorite authors rather, and also a great, vocalist. So he's given a lot of motivational lectures as well. His name is Simon Sinek, and his favorite book, and one of my favorite books is, of course, Start With Why. So he talks about purpose, and he talks about the golden circle basically. And one of the main strategies that most companies like Apple and other companies do adopt is they actually start with the word why, which is the purpose. And if you and your employees are in alignment with the why, you can actually go to the neurocortex, which is the area which talks about the emotional aspect in the human behavior. So, and once you're able to connect with that, you're able to drive behavior and drive change. And that's how you're able to stay relevant as well. So, and of course, there's another book called Ikigai, which is again about purpose. So, yes, I believe, and I truly believe that why is important. And what we did, in fact, this is one of our taglines, which is taking the labor out of labor law compliance. So, which is labor means the pain. So pain out of the labor law compliance. And once you do that, the employees themselves believe that they are like ambassadors and they can drive change. And that only comes from the why. Thank you.
Absolutely. So it's all about empowering employees and making them find their core purpose, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think every organization should do that. Not to mention the competition, but nevertheless, they should. Yes.
Right, right. So, Manmeet, just to kind of wrap this interview up, do you have any final passing remark or like a quote that best describes your feelings about the future of work and workplace?
I think I have two of them. So this is one of my all-time favorite, and it's an evergreen quote. The people often talk about luck, but there is a saying by Seneca, who is one of the greatest philosophers of all time. He talks about luck and he defines luck as luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So I think that is one of the most important quotes which has remained very close to my heart. And I think that's something if everyone can imbibe in their DNA and do not depend upon external factors and prepare for every opportunity that comes for your way. Prepare for it every single day. Get discipline into your life. I think that's what is going to make the fundamental change in the way that you want to achieve whatever you want to do. And apart from that, there is another quote which I do not really follow, but something which I really comprise. And if people can actually follow that, they can make phenomenal change in their lives. So this is, um, you know, it is about time management. And then again, disclaimer is that I do not really follow that. I'm trying to, and we all really try to as human beings, which is, and it goes with the fact that, so it starts with the fact that you need to have something which is known as deadlines. And deadlines can only happen. So I'll just start with a quote, which is beat the deadlines to be in the headlines as per the guidelines, else you'll be in the sidelines. So if you can actually get the nuances of this quote, so beat the deadlines, you do not have to meet the deadline, but beat them. So which means if you have a deadline for, say, 10 o'clock tomorrow, be there at 9:30, be prepared for it. Similarly, if you have, certain guidelines, just follow them. Otherwise, you'll be in the sidelines. So beat the deadlines to be in the headlines as per the guidelines, else you'll be in the sidelines.
Wow, lovely, lovely. That was such a great note to end it on time management and on change management, how you can really be the drivers of the change you want to see. Um, so that was wonderful, wonderful, Manmeet. Thank you so much. I think the last bit of positivity and motivation was something we all need during these trying times. So really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I would like to thank you as well as the People Hum team for giving us this opportunity. This has been a wonderful experience for me personally, being interviewed by you, and appreciate your patience as well. So thank you so very much.
Likewise, there's no problem at all. I had a wonderful time interviewing you too, and really hoping to stay in touch in the future.
Same here, likewise. And you have a wonderful day ahead and a great weekend. Take care.